I mentioned earlier on about continually negotiating, and it's such an important thing. Every time you do a new order, renegotiate. Build the relationship up. We tend to like to pay a bit more at the beginning because we like to try and build the relationships up. So the first order, we're not trying to do the killer price because that doesn't set up a good foundation for a good relationship, and a lot of the time it's all built on relationships. You can, if you want, go overseas to fairs. I used to do this a lot. I don't do it. I rarely ever do it anymore because it's just not worth it. Take the Canton Fair, 25,000 exhibitors. Each table is between 3 to 10 feet long. You guys do the maths of how long it's going to take you to walk around those 25,000 tables, right? And then think about, you go over there and you've only got half the information. You go and negotiate. You negotiate a great price, $20 for that. Is that a good price or not? Well, if you don't know how much it sells for, and you don't know its velocity, you don't know if that's a good price or not. It could sell for 15, it could sell for 100. So, and of course you can get your iPad out and try and fight for bandwidth and try and do some research while you're there. But you've got 25,000 exhibitors there. You can do that same research back at home or get a virtual assistant in the Philippines to do it all for you overseas without leaving home. Yeah, you don't have to go there anymore. You really don't. So if you only sell proven products, trips to China and Asia are optional. You don't need to do it. All product research can be done anywhere, including by VAs in the Philippines or any other country.
And,
yep.
How do you find reputable VAs?
I guess there's a link at the beginning which goes to outsourcing.
Okay.
If you follow that link, it shows you, it's a full course all about how to find them and where to find them. Okay, always look at your competitors' profile for priorities. I mentioned about that, showed you that Greenies one as an example. Always just go into your competitors to find where other products. So unproven product sourcing. So unproven products is stuff that's not already selling. So it's a brand new idea. And if you're starting off, if you get good at this, ask yourself, how am I ever going to get out of this business? Because if you're awesome at doing product sourcing for brand new items that have never been sold, how are you ever going to get out? How are you going to train someone else to do this? You cannot get someone, in the Philippines, $1 or $2 an hour to do it for you. Or if you can, you're very lucky. You're more likely going to be paying someone like $100,000+ a year to do this. So that's why another reason that we got out of doing that. So if you're doing new products, you can join trade associations, fashion, toy associations, and I'll give you the links in a second. Trade magazines, Google trade magazine plus your niche. So if you're into crocheting, trade magazine plus crocheting. Whatever niche you like, trade magazine plus, you can find the trade magazines for that. Trade shows, local and overseas, these are the two URLs where you can find things like the Canton Fair and all those overseas ones. Plus you can also find the local ones in Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide as well in these links. So if you're in a particular, if you know about a lot about, say, car parts as an example, and you want to go to one of those fairs, awesome. So again, for the people who came in late, all these slides are available. I'll give you a link in it tonight where you can download these slides and all these links. Okay, so here's a quick overview of how to rank well on Amazon. So if you know enough to be dangerous, you can find other sellers quickly that aren't doing these things, and we call it the rule of sevens. There's only 7 main things you've got to know about. Just like an eBay website, optimization is the #1 way to get your listings to the top of the search results, or get your website to the top of the search results, or get your eBay listing to the top of the search results. It's all about optimization. Don't guess. Over 90% of sellers guess it. Over 90%, which means there's a massive opportunity. It's always been that way, and I think it'll always be that way. With Amazon, it's all about the buy box. I looked for a camera, Canon 80D, and Amazon looked at where I live, and it said to me, this item here, $17.48, and it puts this buy box here, and all I have to do is click add to cart. So this seller got the buy box. All the other sellers go all the way down here. So that seller gets the most of the business. And Amazon figured out that's the best seller for me based on my location. It looks at the location, your location, the seller's location, because of course, let's say there's another seller in, say, Italy selling the same item. Of course, it's going to show one of you guys as a seller as opposed to the person in Italy, because it's going to take much longer to get here. So it looks at that, it looks at the price, it looks at the seller reputation, all those factors, and it figures out this is the best seller, so that seller gets the buy box. So that seller gets the majority of the sales. So what I've been talking tonight about is there's a whole lot of other sellers selling with a lot of reviews. You going to the bottom and getting up here, if it's got over 400 reviews, it's going to be very challenging. This is why we don't touch anything that's got over 400 reviews. It's also why we also do bundling, and why we looked at a lot of items. So a Canon camera like this is one of the most competitive things you could possibly sell on Amazon. So most other items don't have anything like the competition this thing's got.
But this strategy is applicable for FBM only, right?
Or FBA. So this Canon camera could be FBM or FBA.
No, but if it is FBA, then buy box is not applicable, because in that case the location would not matter. The location of the warehouse will be the location.
Correct. Correct. But it will take that into account. But if another seller has got it for, say, $1,600, that will go in the buy box. It weighs all the factors up, just like eBay does with its best match. It's very similar. So here's how to get it. So this is the rule of sevens. Show the product being used. So like this item, for instance, has got an LCD display. Show it being used with it turned on. Have a picture of the product packaging. Show the box it comes in. People love boxes. It's crazy. If you go and sell, if you've got an iPad, an old iPad lying around, it's 10 years old or 5 years old, whatever. If you sell that same iPad with a box, you'll get more money for it. Is anyone going to use the box?
The kids.
Yeah, the kids. And if you've got a kitten, maybe, that might sleep in it. But no one's going to use the box. But you'll get more money every time if it's got a box. Human beings aren't all that logical sometimes. Include photos that show the size of the product. If it's small, make it look bigger. Anything that's bigger tends to get more money. I tell them people aren't logical. Show the product from multiple angles. If a buyer cannot get the information that they want, they'll go to look at another seller. So if this, show the front, the back, the sides, every single picture, because if they can't get enough information, they'll go to your competitor to get the rest of the information. Power the item up is a must. So much stuff is listed on eBay and Amazon is not powered up. People want to see the LCD display. They want to see what it looks like turned on. Amazon images, at least 1,001 pixels. So the eBay sellers in the room, eBay's got a minimum of 500 or preferably 1,600. If you do 1,600 on eBay, you can zoom in. So the rule is always with eBay is 1,600. Amazon's 1,001. Always a colour photo. Pure white background. With eBay, you can do graffiti. So you can write all the stuff on your gallery image. Amazon, no, you can't do that. It must be a pure white background. If anyone doesn't know how to do pure white backgrounds, you cut it all out. And you can do it with free software. You don't need fancy things like Photoshop. You can use a program like, what's an example? GIMP, G-I-M-P. GIMP is free. And the great thing about it, because it's free, if you've got VAs working in the Philippines or whatever, they can do it for you. If you want to know how to use GIMP, I've got a free video, which is if you go to neilwaterhouse.com/GIMP, G-I-M-P. There's a 4 or 5 minute video, shows you how to use it, how to cut out anything. Watch it 5 minutes, you now know how to do it. So you don't need to buy, we used to buy Photoshop licenses for our staff, we don't do it anymore. Must cover 85% of the image area, but you should be doing this already. Your image should be always touching as many of the sides as you can. Don't have your image here, it looks small, it's worth less money because it's small. I know it's a stupid thing to say, but we've proved this over and over. Try to always touch the sides, either 2 sides or 4 or 3, whatever. Big as possible. No graffiti. Your product title should be around 80 characters. Now, for the eBay sellers in the room, they know that on eBay you can have a maximum 80 characters. It used to be 55. eBay figured out 80 works the best. Amazon allows you to put over 200. Problem with that is it confuses Amazon to what the hell you are selling, like it does with Google. It doesn't know what you've got because you've got so many keywords of what the hell are you selling. So reduce it back to 80. Now, when you look at programs like eGrow, it looks to how many keywords in the title and it figures out, well, that seller's got 200, so it tells you, hey, here's an opportunity for you, because this seller's got 200 characters, so they've screwed up, so there's an opportunity. So it's one of the things that it puts weight to ego. 200 is bad. Less is bad, more is bad. You want to be as close to 80 as you can. That's why eBay, I don't know, it must be about 7 years ago, made it change from 55 to 80. And so, okay, what can I do? Also include your brand, your model number, and your model name, product type in your title. Also with Amazon, feedback is critical. Whoever's got the most feedback makes you rank higher. But you've got to have some methodology in place to increase your feedback. We've been using Feedback Express for many, many years, but this Feedback 5 is getting a lot of media attention. A lot of people love it. So we don't use it. We use Feedback Express, but Feedback 5 is a lot of people are using as well. So you should have one of those in place and what it does, it prompts people to leave feedback. And it also gets involved with helping get rid of negative feedback. So with Amazon, like eBay, you can get rid of negative feedback, and that works with you to do that.
Excuse me,
yep.
How does it work when you do FBA, for example? Is it sent in an email to the customer?
Yes, contacts them direct through. You can use the software, goes direct through it.
And when review goes on your Amazon account against the item?
Sorry?
The review is going on your Amazon account against the item ban?
Yes, if you get anything, it'll also let you know. It'll email you if you've got a negative, and then you can work with the customer to get rid of it. Okay, so avoid duplicate content. What did I miss there? Yeah, so fill out all the relevant categories. If it's there, fill it out. Avoid duplicate content. And this is a summary of 7s. A headline for your product. A set of 5 bullet points. A paragraph. This is critical. We call this the story. The story is your ground floor to the 10th floor to explain what on earth it is that you're selling. Every single item on eBay, Amazon, or your website should have a story like this. You don't just assume everyone knows what it is, because they don't. You've got to always assume sellers know nothing about what you're selling, and you always write everything for a 10-year-old. So this is a Logitech PowerPoint presentation tool that has an LCD display which shows you battery life, etc., etc. You've got 0 to the 10th floor to explain what it is that you're selling. And every single item must have a story. Because if they don't get the story, they'll go out searching for more information. A story makes every item more valuable. Absolutely critical. At least one photo of the product on a pure white background. The weight and dimensions, of course, of the item. Your keywords. And I haven't talked a lot about keywords tonight, but keywords you can get, I have mentioned a bit, you can get them from Google. Actually, I've got some more slides coming on that. I'll leave that. A SKU code, which can be anything you want. But everything on Amazon must have a UPC code. Now, with UPC codes, you can get those, like at the moment, about 22,000 on eBay is $24. But if you've invested a lot of time and money in creating your own product, then you need to get original GS1 one, which is down here, GS1, which will cost you $100. Or you can get them in bulk for like $24 for 2,000. The difference is the GS1 code was originally registered to you, whereas the ones on eBay were originally registered to somebody else. Okay, so summary of Amazon metadata. Vital information, any variations you have, the offer, which is your price, images, a description, keywords, and any other details you have about it. Yep.
Storytelling part of description, selling on eBay, a hobby. A lot of people rip that information and repurpose that on their own.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah.
How does that work with Amazon? I don't know. How does that work with Amazon?
Well, because Amazon's driven by UPC codes, so once it's already written up there, it's more of if you create your own product or your new bundle when there's not there, so you're starting something from scratch. All right, so you're selling this, it's now got a case, it's now got a battery or whatever with it. It's when you're creating your own stuff.
I mean with the actual description of the product of that story, is someone like ripping that your story?
Yeah, well, people rip stuff off and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But don't rip off your supplier who's written in Chinglish. Right, create your own. Because that's a great thing to do. And and when you get VAs, always proof it to make sure it sounds Australian. They can write it, but you need to proof it yourself. Or you can outsource that to an Australian. Okay, so tools. So I'm going to show you some tools here work in Australia, some don't. And you're probably thinking, why is he showing me stuff that doesn't work in Australia? Well, the reason why is because we're using it, we love it, but it's coming. So I'm showing it to you. Just put in your diary every month, just check to see if it's available. Keepa is a great product. It's a Chrome extension. What that means, if you use Google Chrome, for those real newbies on computers, you got browsers like Safari, which is your Apple browser. You've got Firefox. You've got Microsoft Edge. You've got Google Chrome. These are all browsers, and this is a Chrome extension. So if you've got Google Chrome as your internet browser, it's an extension that plugs into it, and it shows the price history and sales rank for any item on Amazon. There's also Camel. Now this one, by the way, doesn't work in Australia yet. Again, it's coming out. Camel's another one which is similar. It's a price tracker, which is also coming out shortly. Still not out yet though. FBA Toolkit. Now, FBA Toolkit is available. That does work. Now, FBA Toolkit gives you a list of products in any category by sales rank. Like we talked a lot tonight about sales rank, number 219, a number 100, number 1,000, whatever. Well, FBA Toolkit does sort them by sales rank for you. So it's a huge time saver. Now, the only thing with FBA Toolkit, it doesn't work with all products, which is a really weird one. And it's been getting better over the last couple of years. It's been getting better, but it doesn't work. Don't be surprised if your product's missing. Oh, I've got that in there. Okay, and again, don't bother with items ranked greater than 500 because there's no point. It's going to be very difficult for you to try and, unless you've got some amazing method of getting them really cheap or some methodology, you've rewritten the manual. If you haven't, then don't bother, find something else. Okay, talked a little bit about Google Ad Planner for free. You get the most popular rated keywords. I mentioned before about PowerPoint device or PET or whatever. It'll show you all the other keywords. Type in the word Harry Potter, it will show you what everyone else is typing in for Harry Potter. Barbie, it'll type you all the other keywords for Barbie. Use best, and then the keyword. Barbie reviews, best Barbie, it'll come up and give you all that kind of stuff that other people are searching for. All for free. Merchant Words also does work in Australia, does the same thing, and it's just for Amazon, and it works on Amazon Australia. Like on here, I typed in reading glasses, and it showed me the results in Australia. So we can find out competition, we can also find more words. Merchant Words, which is a great tool, and I believe they've got 30-day free trial. Yep.
Yeah, when you talk about not going for products over 400 reviews,
yep.
Are you also talking about the actual product or the category?
Product.
Okay.
Just each product.
Yeah, right.
The keyword Dominator is also another great tool for finding out Amazon keywords. Okay, you've done that. Yeah, and again, like I mentioned before, make sure you always select the out of stock. Because in the keyword tool Dominator, it gives you the ability to turn on and off the out of stock items. Always make sure you turn it on. Because again, like I mentioned several times tonight, you miss out on all some fantastic opportunities of the hot selling stuff, which is just sold out of stock. And you need to know about that stuff. Search a single keyword, get a phrase, we've done that tonight. Search pet, discover pet carrier, etc., etc. But you can also do this with eBay and Google. So you can do this, if you go to eBay and you type in pet, it will show you all the other top 10 keywords that everyone searches for. Google does the same. It's called the auto suggestion tool, which is a search box. So if you Google, eBay or Amazon, if you type in one word, it will show you all the other things. So if you type in, say, solar, it will show you panel and all the other keywords. So it's all there already for you, which is awesome. The only thing it won't do though is it won't show you what someone typed in before the word solar. So let's say they typed in 12 volt solar. It won't show you that. It'll just show you the words after solar. So that's where the Google tool is awesome, and also these other tools. Did you have a question?
That's cool. Keyword tool Dominator, it's Amazon.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's Amazon. Yeah. So those other the auto suggestion tools, which are brilliant, they only show you after, not beginning. Another tool which is really cool is Google Trends. Google Trends shows you the trend of an item. So like if we research, say, iPhone 7, you'd see here there'd be a spike and then it'd fall off, right? So we always, the rule in marketing is the bigger the party, the bigger the hangover. So we tend to like things that more of a flat line or maybe with a slight uptick. Anything that's got a big spike, bigger the party, bigger the hangover. Because obviously the iPhone 7, iPhone 10 comes out, bang, traffic falls off. But Google Trends is free. I mentioned earlier on tonight about the promotion section in Amazon now, and there's and that's more information about it. I'm not going to get it because tonight's a beginner one, but I gave you a link earlier on about the promotions. Other tools that don't work in Australia that we use are these. Now we don't use all these tools, we just use some of these tools, but these are very popular tools in the industry. And again, you can just go through and continually research them. Again, these links are all available for you guys, so you can just continually check. These are very popular ones. I've made a little bit of a listing of what they do, automation, listing, etc. All right, so where we're up to. So now, when you start listing and you want to send stuff to Amazon to the FBA program, there's certain steps you've got to do to go through and get your product from FBM to FBA. You've got to print out some labels, you've got to stick them on boxes. Now, so rather than go through that tonight, because most people who are beginners aren't there yet, here's a video again that shows you how to do it. Well, I sit on the computer and I go through step by step and I do it. So you just follow it through, and there's a link there for when you're ready to send stuff to their warehouse. Yep.
Can you get, say, Alibaba to send direct to the...
Yes, you can. Just bear in mind, Alibaba is just a search engine, so it's just to find the supplier. So it's the supplier that sends direct to FBA. So as long as it's got all the paperwork on and it's all done correctly, yes. But of course, you want to triple check to make sure everything is done correctly. Otherwise, Amazon will reject it. So now, just before we wrap tonight, diversification is such a key thing. So Amazon FBA is brilliant, it rocks, but it's just another marketplace. So don't put, I hate having all my eggs in one basket. You do tend to sleep better if you don't put your eggs in one basket. I've split tested this over the years. I definitely, for me, diversification rocks. So you can do Amazon, you can do eBay, you can do your own independent website. You can sell on Gumtree, Facebook marketplaces. So if you've imported some products, you've got your own products, you can stick them on Gumtree and Facebook marketplaces as well. Now, I don't recommend doing these two as a commercial venture because it's painful. Anyone here sell stuff on Facebook marketplaces? Okay, how many times do you get people saying, is it still available?
I'm pretty good at, if you word your ads correctly, a lot of the time if you're selling the same thing, if you're getting the same questions, it's because you don't have the correct information. So since what I'm selling is very specific, I've actually reduced the amount of is it available. Secondly, you just don't take them to heart. You actually just respond to the ones that are more than just is it still available.
Yeah.
And by the way, just today or yesterday, Facebook Marketplace came out with paper ads.
Yes, yeah, I saw that, yeah. So that's one downside. The other downside with Facebook Marketplace is that, and Gumtree, you've got people coming around to your house to pick stuff up, which is, anyone's done that knows that's a real pain. They're going to turn up on 2 o'clock on a Saturday, and do they turn up? No. And then next thing you know, you've written off your whole Saturday afternoon. So if you've got stuff, it's a great place. It's a great way to learn stuff. Yep.
One thing I do is pick up by appointment only, so that saves a lot of that from not showing up and saying they might come around and then having all this sort of stuff. I just pick up by appointment only, so I have to make an appointment to come around and pick it up.
Awesome, yeah. So you can do it, and Facebook Marketplaces rocks. There's a lot of traffic there, there's a lot of business there, and there's not too much competition. So it's an awesome place. If you've got stuff, it's an awesome thing to do. I just think as you get bigger though, you might not want to do that, but it's up to you guys. You can import, you can use FBA, you can also, if you've got an eBay business, you can set up the same kind of thing. You can use fulfillment houses, where you can send your goods to a fulfillment house, and they can warehouse your products. Every time you get a sale, they can ship it for you, so you don't have to get your own warehouse. You can do private labeling, you can do drop shipping. Yep.
You can also pop-up shops with importing if you want to as well.
Sorry?
Pop-up shops?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. So there's many things if you do product. Just don't lock yourself. You don't have to do just one. You can do multiple things in this business. So if cash flow is an issue at the start, because FBA costs money, right? You've got to buy stock, you've got to send it to FBA, so it costs money. If it's an issue, try to purchase samples. There's no minimum. You can send one item to Amazon FBA. So MOQ, minimum order quantity. Sell used items. Everyone's got some stuff lying around, collecting dust in their house, their garage, or wherever. Sell on Gumtree, Facebook marketplaces to generate cash, and then you can use that cash to buy some new products. If you want to know how to sell, normally on Amazon you can sell used stuff, but normally Amazon is known for new stuff. If you've got used stuff, sell it on Gumtree, eBay, Facebook marketplaces. If you want to know how to sell on eBay, there's a complete guide here you can download for free to show you all about how to do it. You can also do drop shipping, where, as mentioned before, with drop shipping you get paid first, and then you place your order with suppliers, so it's cash flow positive. If you want to know more about that, there's a link there for drop shipping. So there's many avenues. You don't, because some people say, oh, I want to do FBA, but I don't have the money. Well, there's other ways to generate cash online. So we covered a lot of stuff tonight, but don't freak out thinking, oh God, there's a lot of stuff to do. It's all baby steps. You just got to think about, why you're doing it. Why put the effort in to do this? And for what drives me is always lifestyle, and it's time and money. So the great thing with online businesses is it works 24/7, 365. People buy stuff literally 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, all day long, all year long. So, and it gives you the freedom of, think about where you want to be the next 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and it's all about just baby steps, one little baby step at a time, and realise over 90% of sellers don't optimise. So learn those steps, and it's easy to beat them. And don't get caught up in this procrastination thing with, I've got to get it all right before I go live. No. Like Reid Hoffman, who's the founder of LinkedIn, he once said, if you're not totally embarrassed by your first effort, you've launched too late. Now, I'm not saying slap up things with a whole lot of typos and spelling errors, but just done is better than perfect. So yeah, I've got to wrap it up because of time. But thanks everyone, and we'll see you in 6 to 8 weeks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.